Well, hello everyone. Alejandro Tornato here, coming directly from Beaufort, Georgia. And tonight, I want to talk a little bit about paying the price that attracts leaders. Paying the price that attracts leaders. You know, I'm sure that you heard it many times before, but success always comes at a price. Success always comes at a price. Now, this statement cannot be denied. You see, a person can pay now and play later, or consequently, they can play now and pay later. Either way, that person is going to pay. Now, the question is whether he's going to pay now or he's going to pay sometime in the future. But success has a price. Now, creating a climate for potential leaders also requires a leader to pay a price. And it begins with a decision to engage in a personal growth strategy. I talked about personal growth. Yesterday, I said that personal growth is a choice. I mean, it's a personal choice that every single person has to make. It's a decision. And that decision to engage in a personal growth strategy begins at a certain point in your life. I mean, when you become aware that you need a personal growth strategy, that a personal growth is important in your life. Now, the leader must examine himself, ask himself or herself the hard questions. And let me stress that he or she must ask himself the hard questions, because it is through hard questions and reflecting and exploring hard questions, you are going to come with the real answers. And then determine to do the right thing regardless of the atmosphere or mood. There are few ideal and leisurely settings for the disciplines of growth. Now, did you know that most of the significant things that are done in the world were done by people who were either far too busy or too sick to do them? Now, that statement brings to mind and reminds me of another statement that I heard so many times. It says, if you want something done well, and done in a relatively short amount of time, guess what? Delegate that work, whatever that work may be, but delegate that work to a busy person. Because a busy person is going to rearrange things and rearrange schedules in order to get that thing done. If you delegate, if you want to get something done and you delegate it to someone who is sitting on a couch just not doing absolutely anything, guess what? That work will never get done. Even though that person has all the time in the world to do it, but it will not get done. So give that to a busy, and that's why it says here, I mean, did you know that most of the significant things done in the world were done by people who were either far too busy doing things or they were too sick to do them? Why is that? Because once they got something to do, they completely forgot about their sickness, about their busyness. They were still busy, but they found time. They made time in their busy lives, in their busy schedules, to get something new done. You know, there was a book by John Maxwell that says, make every day count. Make every day count. And when you make every day count, you are going to arrange the day and prioritize things in your day in order to get everything that you need to get done. And that's the end of the story. No matter how busy a person is, he or she will find time to do everything that they need to get done and accomplished. While the other person who is on the couch doing nothing, what is he going to do? He's going to begin making excuses to say, well, I cannot do this because I got this pain here, or I'm not feeling well. He's going to go by feelings as opposed to responsibilities and attitude. Okay? So, we need to remember this, that there are two kinds of businesses where leaders operate. Okay? The first one is emotion-based companies. Now, emotion-based companies allow the atmosphere of the company to determine the action to be taken. They go by emotion, they go by feelings. But the second kind of company allows the action to determine the atmosphere. And those are typically the companies where things get done, where leaders who are the ones, you remember maybe a couple of days ago or 3 days ago, I did a teaching on the climate of a company and leaders. There are some leaders who are more like a thermostat. Other leaders are more like a thermometer. And what is the difference between these two instruments? Is that a thermometer is a passive instrument. Why? Because the thermometer only reads the temperature of a room, whereas a thermostat not only reads the temperature of the room, but it goes one step farther. It controls it, and it has the ability to adjust the temperature in the room. It can make the climate different, the atmosphere different. And so here, character-based companies are those where leaders functioned as thermostats. The action that is taken determines the climate that the company is going to be experiencing. You know, successful leaders recognize that personal growth and the consistent development of leadership skills are not temporary, but they are lifetime pursuits. No one is going to say, well, I want to be a great leader, so for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to do all the work that needs to be done. And then at the end of that 3 weeks, then I'm going to go back to my own self. It doesn't work like that. If you are going to be a great leader and you begin developing leadership skills, then remember that is a lifetime pursuit. Not a temporary one, but a lifetime pursuit. A couple of authors, Warren Bennis and Bert Nanus, they wrote a book titled Leaders, The Strategies for Taking Charge. Leaders, the strategies for taking charge. And they conducted a research study of approximately 100 top executives and top leaders in all fields. And they found that it is the capacity to develop and improve their skills that distinguishes leaders from their followers. Let me just repeat that one more time, because I want you to pay attention to this. They conducted a research study of about 100 top leaders, and they found this, that it is the capacity to develop and improve their skills that distinguishes leaders from their followers. And then we go back to what I said before, that personal growth and the development of leadership skills is not temporary. It's a lifetime pursuit. It's a lifetime pursuit. And they came, as a result of that study, they came to the conclusion that leaders are perpetual learners. Now, I've been saying it for a pretty long time that leaders are perpetual learners. I've been saying it all along, that not only and of course there is a quote by Eric Hoffer that talks about that. It says, in times of change, it is the learners who will inherit the earth, while the learned are beautifully equipped to live in a world that no longer exists. And leaders are perpetual learners. And that's why we can always, and we can as well say that leaders are readers. I've never met a leader who was not a reader. Why? Because leaders are perpetual learners. And one of the ways that you learn is by reading, books that are going to help you in your own development of leadership skills. And you can begin implementing new ideas that you read in books, and you can begin exploring those ideas in your own business, in your own company. Even if you are an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, you can implement it in your own personal business. But leaders are learners, and not temporary learners, but perpetual learners. Learning for a leader is a lifetime pursuit as well. So, success has a price. And if you're a leader, you need to consider that you need to pay the price that it takes to achieve greatness in the leadership role that you are performing. And that it is not a temporary. It is not for the next 3 weeks or the next month or the next year even. It is longer. It is a longer vision that you need to have. It's for the long haul, not for the short one. And let me just conclude with this. Be willing to pay the price to be a perpetual learner. There is a price to pay to be a perpetual learner. Think of yourself. Think of your circumstances. Think of your determination to pay, to be willing to pay whatever price it is for you, because for you, it may be different for you than for me, than for somebody else. but be willing to pay the price to be a perpetual learner. So thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. It gives me great pleasure. You cannot imagine sharing this content with all of you, and I truly hope that this content resonated with you and that it would in some way or another help you in your further journey or in your further development of leadership skills, and that you get into you start, if you haven't started yet, developing a personal growth strategy. Okay? Thank you so very much. And if you want to contact me directly, there is my website, alejandrojtornato.com, alejandrojtornato.com. You can also contact me on my social media platform, my No Limits Living Facebook page, Conversations with Influencers group, on LinkedIn as well. You can get to my profile, and I encourage you, go and check out my podcast, The Alejandro Tornato Show. I posted recently a short snippet of one of the episodes on my Facebook page and profile. And if that content resonates with you, please share that in your own social media platform. Just spread the word, and because I want to spread my message of personal growth, of living a life of limitless pursuits. I mean, with no limitations. Because as I said, we were not created, my friends, with any kinds of limitations. If the limitations that we have are the limitations that we imposed on ourselves. And so I would be more than willing and happy to work with you. I mean, to help you. If you're stuck, if you are a little bit unclear as to what is the next step in your development, contact me. Let me see. I mean, if there is a synchronicity. I mean, if we can work together, and definitely I would be very, very happy to help you wherever you are on your journey. So thank you once again, and I want to remind you to live every moment of your life to the fullest. Be resilient, and also be kind, be passionate, be intentional. And until the next time that we meet, all the very best, and be well.